On this episode of Playing with Fire, the team faces their demons a year after a big crash at the World Series of Drag Racing. Elaine cackles a nostalgia top fuel dragster. And Marisha and her suitcase have to take the long walk across the Quad Cities airport, starting to wonder if she's going to have to race for food. Here we go, guys, in 3, 2, 1.
We're heading back to Cordova, Illinois for the World Series of Drag Racing. It's a year after my wreck.
We're going to go back and face our demons because last year we cut down a right front tire and had a pretty good sized crash.
It was the first pass on Saturday night's run. I was racing Diamond Jim Crown Heart. At this point, there was really nothing special going on in my mind other than this was just a normal everyday drag race and my car was going to go A to B like it always does. We staged our cars and everything was great. The car was running straight and true, just like she always does. And then it all happened.
The run was a pretty clean run. Parachutes came out. Coming through the shutdown area, a few hundred feet later, probably down around 200 miles an hour, we lost a right front tire. It's the hardest thing to separate that husband element from the professionalism that we have to have at the track. And as much as we think we can train for these situations, you just sometimes aren't really ready for it. The rest of the crew and I were already down the track, just waiting for the cars to get to the end. When we saw the car on its side, we really knew that we were in trouble.
I have to give a huge shout out to the EMS guys and gals that were working that night. They made me feel so safe and so secure, making sure that they were quick on the spot, and it just gave me a great feeling knowing that they were going to take care of me.
We're headed to Cordova, Illinois for the World Series of Drag Racing. I've heard a lot about this race and it's one of our bigger races for the season, so I'm ready to get there and get racing.
Now I gotta restart. Marisha's on her phone. Oh yeah. And we're walking to go get something to eat. Where is she taking us? Where? Outback, like to Outback restaurant, or Outback like Outback? Okay, the airport's way over there, and our goal is way up here. We've been walking this whole time. I guess our goal is to get to McDonald's. We'll race for food. She'll sit on the side of the road. Okay, the airport was way over there. We've now made it to civilization. Thank you, Lord Jesus. McDonald's, here we come. Home of the Big Mac. Oh no.
Open during construction.
Okay.
We finally got here, got something to eat. Now we're headed downtown to do a press conference with the local media.
One of our jobs is to help Scott promote the event. This is Marisha's first time to the Quad Cities, and she did an amazing job. Being able to go out there and promote the sport that you love, that's what it's all about. It was an honor and a privilege for Scott to have us out there and to be a part of his press conference.
Media is done, so now it's time to get down to the real work. We're headed to the track to get everything unloaded, the trailer's set up, the car's ready to go, and get down to some racing.
It's Friday night and it's go time. All of the press conferences are over, the fans are in the stands, and it's time for me to suit up and get down the racetrack. My crew chief for this race, Chuck, and his wife Denise, give me that last pep talk that it takes to get in my race car and get her done. A lot's going through my mind right now, but I can't let it affect me. I have to make sure and go and give Marisha those last words of encouragement, get in the car, and get this job done. Car's started, I'm in it, and there's no one to save me now. It's time to get in there and get my job done. A beautiful pass for the Miller Welding Jet Dragster. Man, oh man, am I glad to get that one done. The press conferences paid off. All that PR and publicity, the fans came out in the thousands. It was a great time, and we had an autograph signing session so that we could give a little back.
After the last race, the cars didn't go home. We did a post-race inspection and found out that we needed brake pads for the Embry-Riddle car. We drop shipped some brake pads in for the Embry-Riddle car so that Mike could change them at the beginning of the race.
It's important for Elaine and I to keep the younger generations excited about racing, so we try to get them helping with the team and bring us some luck on the racetrack.
One of the really cool things that Elaine had the privilege of doing at the World Series of Drag Racing this year was to cackle a top fuel dragster.
When I was asked to run an original front-engine top fuel dragsters from the 60s, I ran for my safety equipment. The people that built these cars poured their heart and soul into them. They remain some of the most beautiful works of automotive craftsmanship in existence today. What a thrill it was for me to have this rare opportunity.
We're sitting in the staging lanes right before the run. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking about those smallest details, every little part of the car that's going to have to be just perfect for each run.
My son Andrew has really stepped up his game and become an active member of my race team. It means so much to me to have my family close by doing what we love to do.
Family's always been very important to me, so it's great that I have such a large, close-knit racing family to go on the road with me and keep me safe and motivated at the track. This is my rookie season, and there's a first time for everything. And on this pass, for the first time, my afterburner didn't light on launch, so I recognized it right away. Hopefully, a split second later, had it relit and ready to go. Relighting the afterburner was a little more than I expected. Since I'm already moving, when I light the afterburner, the acceleration hits a little harder and we pull a little bit more G-force, and it's quite the experience. I hope I don't have to do it again this season.
Just like you see at the airport, that umbilical cord that's attached to the airplane right before they start the airplane, same thing with us. The car won't start on its own because a separate battery pack is carried in the crew truck. Those powerful brute force batteries spin the engine up to about 10% of its rated RPM. At that point, the driver simply engages the fuel system, gives the engine fuel, and the engine should fire up normally. When it fires up, it's idling at about 40% of its rated RPM. That's when the crew gets the signal from the driver to disconnect that battery pack and the ignition. Our cars use an electric starter motor to spin the engine up to the correct speed before we add fuel and ignition to the engine. We plug into that electric starter motor with that battery pack full of brute force batteries. When both cars are fired and running and the crew's already headed down the track, it's my job to do those last minute checks. I look for any type of leaks at all, and I also go behind the seats as a CO2 bottle that's responsible for energizing some of the engine control systems.
Final pass World Series of Drag Racing. It's been a great event so far, event-free. Car started great this time, cool temperatures. Things are looking great. Oh, right up until now, what just happened? Oh my God, gotta get this thing back on. Wouldn't be good dragging the tailgate down the track, would it? Whew. Dodged a bullet there, got it back on. Make sure we're leak-free. Sigh of relief, let's go down the track and chase her on the top end.
That's good old Mike. Even in the most unusual situations, he keeps a clear head. It's our turn to run. Let's see if our teams can get the cars down the track just one more time. It's been a great World Series of Drag Racing, an unbelievable race. Now it's time to head back to Daytona and get back to work on those new cars for next year. Corey is cutting and drilling the switch panels for the 2013 cars. Brian is getting the body ready for paint for the Decade of Thrills car. And Dylan is welding the last few tabs for another car that's getting ready to go to powder coat.
On the next episode of Playing with Fire, the teams head to ZMAX for the NHRA drag races. Nitro continues his obsession with food, and the 2013 cars return from paint.
And now, from only a foot off the ground, it's Nitro's world.
Crunchy, munchy, delightful, divine, I just love eating all of the time. A plate is great if it's filled to the brim, pieces with fries spilling over the rim. Whatever it is, if it's eaten, it's bliss. When it's put on the table, I'll grin. For burgers and beef, I'll slip in my teeth and pick up my fork and tuck in. Plus charming with ham, a glutton I am, I'll eat it all night and all day. If you leave in the fridge just the tiniest smidge of food, I will wolf it away. I love my food, all of my food. Since I started to eat, each day's been a treat. First 2 meals, then 3, and now 4. Even after the crumbles, my tummy still rumbles, and I'll have just a little bit more. I was told for a dare that the larder was bare, no food in the house to be found. But my ravenous look so frightened the cook that I chased her around and around. I love my food, all of my food.